What if you unknowingly insulted someone who held your entire future in their hands? Imagine being so overwhelmed by the chaos of your life that in a moment of frustration, you lash out at a stranger, and then realize that stranger is someone you never expected, someone with the power to change everything. That's exactly what happened to Emily on one hectic Tuesday evening. The restaurant was buzzing, the dinner rush in full swing. She was juggling orders, dodging complaints, and trying to keep a smile on her face despite her exhaustion. Her mind was elsewhere. Her mother was sick back home, and every dollar she made felt like a drop in an ocean of bills. Then he walked in. Elon Musk. At least, that's what she overheard one of the waitstaff whisper. The man who owned the place, a tech billionaire whose name was splashed all over the news for his rockets, electric cars, and bold ideas about the future. Emily didn't have time to process that. To her, he was just another customer who seemed impatient and a little too demanding. When he asked about the special of the day, her tongue slipped before she could stop it. "If you don't like it, you can always go somewhere else," she said sharply, eyes tired and voice strained. She immediately regretted the words, but the damage was done. The room seemed to freeze. Elon raised an eyebrow but didn't say a word. She kept moving, trying to act normal, but inside she was crumbling. How could she have been so rude? How could she have insulted the man who owned the very restaurant that put food on her table? What if this mistake cost her everything? Her mind raced with worst-case scenarios. As the tension hung thick in the air, Emily's heart pounded, her breath quickened, and a knot tightened deep in her stomach. She wanted to disappear, to rewind time, to make things right. But all she could do was keep going, hoping the night would end without further disaster. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? The moment felt like a turning point, a crossroads where everything could change, either for the worse or, maybe, for the better. What Emily didn't know was that this unexpected encounter was just the beginning of a journey that would challenge everything she thought she knew about herself, about success, and about what it really means to fight for a dream. Emily had always dreamed of something bigger than the small town she grew up in, a place where everybody knew your business and the horizon felt small and suffocating. Raised in Toledo, Ohio, by her mother, Diane, who worked double shifts at a local hospital, Emily learned early on that life was a constant hustle. Her father had left before she was born, a ghost she never got to meet but whose absence shaped her in ways she didn't fully understand. Diane's love was fierce but tired, her smiles rare and often tinged with exhaustion. Emily's childhood was a mix of warmth and struggle. She remembered nights when the power went out because the bills were overdue, or mornings when breakfast was just toast because there wasn't enough money for more. School was a refuge of sorts. Emily was bright, curious, and especially fascinated by science. She spent hours reading about space exploration, dreaming about the stars, rockets, and the possibility of walking on Mars one day. Elon Musk was one of her heroes long before she ever stepped foot in his restaurant. Those dreams sometimes felt like whispers against the roar of reality, but they kept her going. When she turned 18, she left for college on a partial scholarship, studying engineering. But life had other plans. Her mother's health declined rapidly after a diagnosis, and Emily found herself dropping out to come back home and take care of Diane. It was a painful choice, but family came first. She picked up shifts at local diners, then eventually found a job at the upscale restaurant in town, hoping to make enough to cover medical bills and keep her dreams alive in the corners of her mind. The restaurant was nothing like the glamorous places she had imagined working in. It was hectic, demanding, and often thankless. Customers could be rude, tips inconsistent, and the management strict. But Emily was determined. She believed that with enough grit and determination, she could climb out of the mess her life sometimes felt like. Her best friend, Sarah, was her anchor. Sarah had grown up with Emily and understood her struggles better than anyone. They shared laughs, tears, and countless late-night talks about what the future could hold. Sarah worked the bar and had a sharp sense of humor that often saved Emily from sinking into despair. Emily's romantic life was more complicated. She had once fallen for someone she thought was the one, but that relationship ended badly when he chose to leave town for a better opportunity without telling her. The heartbreak left scars, making Emily cautious about opening up again. Yet, she never gave up on the idea that love could be part of her future. Through it all, Emily held on to one thing: hope. Hope that one day, she'd break free from the grind and build a life where her passions weren't just daydreams but reality. She kept a small collection of books about space exploration on her bedside table and followed Elon Musk's ventures religiously, admiring his relentless drive and vision. Her co-workers often teased her about her space obsession, but Emily didn't mind. It was a reminder that even in the darkest moments, something greater was possible. That hope was a fragile flame, flickering but never extinguished. It was the fuel behind every exhausted step she took through crowded dining rooms and busy streets. Tonight, after the tense encounter with Elon Musk himself, that hope felt both fragile and electrified, like it was on the verge of sparking into something new and unknown. Emily's life had always been a balancing act between responsibility and dreams, between the weight of the past and the pull of the future. As she wiped down tables and refilled water glasses, she wondered if this unexpected meeting would be the first step toward a life she'd only dared to imagine. The memories of her mother's weary smile and her own quiet determination echoed inside her, reminding her that even when life pushed hard, she could push harder. The small-town girl with big dreams was still here, still fighting. And whatever came next, she knew she couldn't back down now. Emily's story was just beginning. The evening crowd had thickened by the time Emily clocked in for her shift, the restaurant pulsing with energy and noise. It was the kind of night when every minute felt like a test of endurance, a whirlwind of orders shouted from kitchen to floor, glasses clinking, laughter, and the occasional sharp complaint. Emily moved through the tables with practiced ease, balancing plates piled high with food, her mind 1,000 steps ahead, trying to anticipate what would come next. But today, everything felt heavier. Her legs ached, her head throbbed with fatigue, and a dull ache settled deep in her chest that wasn't just physical. The phone calls from home about her mother's condition had been discouraging, and the constant worry clung to her like a shadow. She found herself snapping at the smallest inconvenience, her patience threadbare. When the man entered, Elon Musk, the rumored owner of the restaurant, Emily barely registered his presence at first. But as he sat down at a corner table, he quickly became the center of attention, drawing whispers and curious glances from other staff and diners alike. The pressure to be flawless was immediate. Her manager had warned her to be extra attentive tonight. When Elon asked about the special of the day, Emily was caught off guard. The moment was a spark in a powder keg of exhaustion and stress. Her reply was curt, sharper than she intended: "If you don't like it, you can always go somewhere else." The words hung in the air, thick and jarring. The sudden silence shocked Emily herself. For a heartbeat, she couldn't believe what she'd said. Around her, the restaurant seemed to hold its breath. Elon looked at her, eyes steady and unreadable, as if weighing her words. She felt the sting of embarrassment and fear rise like a tidal wave. Her co-workers glanced over, their expressions a mix of surprise and silent judgment. The consequences of her outburst felt immediate and real. She wanted to backtrack, to apologize, but her throat tightened, and she just nodded, backing away to hide behind the counter. The minutes crawled as the reality of her mistake settled in. She overheard snippets of gossip from other servers. "Did you hear?" She snapped at Elon Musk. The thought that this moment might cost her job, or worse, her chance at a better future, gnawed at her relentlessly. But life didn't pause for regrets. The restaurant stayed busy, and Emily had to keep moving, keep serving, keep pretending the world wasn't collapsing around her. The tension wasn't just between her and Elon anymore, it spread like a silent storm throughout the staff. Some pitied her, others whispered about her attitude. Sarah caught her eye during a break and gave her a small, encouraging smile, but Emily knew it wouldn't be enough to fix this alone. Elon, meanwhile, seemed unaffected on the surface, but there was an undercurrent of something deeper, a quiet interest, perhaps. Over the next hour, Emily found herself stealing nervous glances toward his table, trying to gauge his mood. Was he angry? Amused? Disappointed? The uncertainty was worse than any confrontation. When the dinner rush finally slowed, Emily's mind raced with plans to find him and apologize properly. But every attempt was thwarted by the ebb and flow of customers, the protective circle of his entourage, and her own rising anxiety. Meanwhile, her interactions with other customers grew strained. She overcompensated with politeness, but the tension under her skin made her stiff, unnatural. The night dragged on, each minute a test of her resilience. She kept replaying the moment in her head, second-guessing every word and expression. The fear of having burned a bridge with Elon, someone who could unknowingly hold the key to her dreams, was suffocating. Her co-workers offered mixed advice, some told her to toughen up, others warned her to keep her distance. But Emily felt stuck in a no-win situation, caught between regret and uncertainty. Outside, the city lights blurred through the restaurant windows, a reminder that life went on beyond this small space, that opportunities waited beyond the shadows of failure. As the last customers trickled out and the staff began cleaning up, Emily's thoughts returned to home, her mother's quiet strength, Sarah's friendship, and the fragile hope that had carried her this far. She realized that this night, despite its chaos and mistakes, was a turning point. Whether it led to ruin or redemption was still unwritten. All she could do was hold on to that hope, fragile and flickering, and keep moving forward, one step at a time. After the stormy evening, Emily's mind was a tangle of fear and curiosity. She kept replaying that sharp moment, the words that slipped out, the glance from Elon Musk that felt like it pierced right through her. The restaurant's usual rhythm seemed off now, every clatter of dishes and murmur of customers ringing louder in her ears. When her shift finally ended, she hurried to the back, hoping to disappear into the night and leave the chaos behind. But fate had other plans. Just as she was locking up the storeroom, a soft knock startled her. She turned to find Elon Musk standing there, his expression unreadable but calm. "Emily?" he asked quietly. Her heart jumped, her breath caught, and the tiredness she'd carried all evening vanished in an instant. She nodded, words stuck in her throat. "I wanted to talk," he said. The silence stretched between them, charged with tension. Then, surprisingly, Elon smiled, a small, almost shy gesture that softened his usually commanding presence. "I'm not upset. Just curious." Curious. The word echoed inside her like a lifeline. He gestured toward the empty dining room, the glow from the pendant lights casting soft shadows across the polished tables. "Come with me," he said. She followed him to the manager's office, a sleek, modern space that contrasted sharply with the bustling restaurant floor. The walls were lined with photos of rockets, electric cars, and moments from Elon's career. It was like stepping into a different world, one of innovation, risk, and relentless ambition. Elon took a seat behind the desk and gestured for her to sit across from him. "I've been watching you," he began, voice low but steady. "Not because you snapped at me, that was human. I've seen something in you, fire, frustration, but also potential. You're not just a waitress, you're someone who's fighting to get somewhere." Emily blinked, the weight of his words sinking in. She'd never been noticed like this before. Not for her struggles, but for her strength. "What do you want from me?" she asked, the question trembling on her lips. Elon leaned forward, eyes shining with an intensity that both unnerved and inspired her. "I want you to be part of something new. We're launching a project here, something that blends customer experience with technology in a way no one's tried before. I think you could bring a perspective that's been missing." The idea was wild, unexpected, and thrilling. Emily felt a spark ignite deep inside, the kind that had fueled her dreams since childhood. She was being offered a chance, not just a job, but a journey into a world she'd only read about in books and watched on the news. "I don't know if I'm qualified," she said honestly. "You don't have to be," Elon replied. "You just have to be willing to learn and push through the hard parts." For the first time in a long while, Emily felt a flicker of hope that wasn't tinged with fear. This could be her new beginning. Over the next days, Emily found herself stepping into a whirlwind of meetings, brainstorming sessions, and hands-on work with a diverse team of engineers, designers, and marketers. The restaurant floor faded into the background as she immersed herself in this new world. Each day brought fresh challenges, technical jargon that felt like another language, late nights filled with trial and error, and moments when self-doubt gnawed at her resolve. But alongside those challenges were breakthroughs. Emily discovered that her frontline experience gave her unique insights into what customers wanted, how they felt, and what could be improved. Her ideas sparked conversations, her questions pushed the team to think differently. Elon remained a constant presence, not as a distant billionaire, but as a mentor who listened, challenged, and encouraged. The office became a space of possibility, where failure was just a step toward success, and every obstacle was an invitation to innovate. Emily's world expanded rapidly, pulling her away from the small-town shadows and into a realm of invention and risk-taking. She realized that this journey wasn't just about technology, it was about growth, resilience, and reclaiming the dreams she'd almost let slip away. The city outside buzzed with life, but inside that office, Emily felt something rare and precious: belonging. She wasn't just a waitress who made a mistake, she was a vital part of something bigger than herself. As the project progressed, Emily's confidence blossomed. She stayed late, poring over data, sketching ideas, and collaborating with teammates who respected her voice. The initial fear that had gripped her was replaced by determination, a fierce hunger to prove not only to Elon but to herself that she could rise above the past and shape her own future. Yet, amid the excitement, doubts lingered beneath the surface. Could she really keep up with this new life? Would her past mistakes catch up to her? And most poignantly, could she balance this fast-paced world with the quiet, heavy responsibilities waiting at home? Each evening, as she left the office, her thoughts drifted back to her mother's weary smile and the small apartment she still called home. The weight of those realities grounded her, reminding her that success wasn't just about innovation or recognition, it was about love, sacrifice, and the courage to keep moving forward despite uncertainty. One night, after a particularly grueling day, Elon stopped her as she was heading out. "You're doing better than you think," he said, his voice steady but kind. "This isn't easy for anyone. But you have something that can't be taught: heart." The words struck Emily deeply. They were more than praise, they were a challenge to keep fighting, to keep believing. That night, as she walked through the city streets under the glow of street lamps, Emily felt a shift inside her. The woman who had once been overwhelmed, lost, and full of doubt was beginning to emerge as someone new, stronger, more resilient, and ready for whatever lay ahead. The journey was just beginning, and the road was uncertain, but Emily knew one thing for sure: she wasn't alone anymore. She was part of a story bigger than herself, one that held the promise of change, growth, and unexpected opportunities. And in that promise, she found the courage to dream again. The days that followed the project launch were a whirlwind of emotions for Emily. The excitement of being involved in something groundbreaking was constantly shadowed by an undercurrent of doubt and fear. Each morning she woke up with a mixture of anticipation and anxiety, knowing that the stakes were higher than anything she had ever faced before. The pressure to prove herself was immense, not just to Elon or her team, but to herself. She was no longer just a waitress from a small town, she was a part of a cutting-edge project that could change the way people experienced dining forever. But that transformation came with its own challenges. One afternoon, as Emily was presenting her latest ideas in a meeting, she noticed a few skeptical glances from some of the senior engineers. They questioned the feasibility of her suggestions, subtly implying that her background wasn't technical enough to understand the complexities involved. The sting of their doubts cut deep. She felt exposed, vulnerable, as if all her past struggles and self-doubt were laid bare before the room. For a moment, she faltered, her voice trembling. But then she remembered the nights spent juggling her mother's care and shifts at the restaurant, the dreams that had kept her going through dark times, and the unexpected opportunity Elon had given her. She took a deep breath and spoke with renewed conviction, explaining not only the practical aspects of her ideas but the human side, the customer's perspective that was often overlooked. The room fell silent, then slowly, nods of approval began. Some of the engineers even asked for more details, showing genuine interest. That day marked a turning point. Emily realized that her value wasn't just in technical know-how but in her unique insight shaped by her life experiences. But the emotional roller coaster was far from over. That evening, as she left the office, her phone buzzed with a message from her mother. Diane's condition had worsened, and she needed to come home immediately. Panic surged through Emily's chest. The delicate balance she had been maintaining suddenly threatened to collapse. She rushed to the hospital, heart pounding, mind racing through worst-case scenarios. Sitting beside her mother's hospital bed, watching the steady rise and fall of her breath, Emily felt a tidal wave of helplessness. All the progress she had made, all the hope she had clung to, seemed so fragile in the face of her mother's suffering. For hours, she sat there, holding Diane's hand, tears silently tracing down her cheeks. The weight of responsibility pressed heavily, and the fear of losing the person who had been her anchor since childhood overwhelmed her. The next days were a blur of hospital visits, work deadlines, and sleepless nights. Emily found herself stretched thin, caught between two worlds pulling her in opposite directions. The project needed her attention, her mother needed her presence. She felt torn, exhausted, and alone. One night, after a particularly long day, Elon called her unexpectedly. His voice was calm but serious. "Emily, I know this isn't easy. I want you to know you don't have to do this alone." He offered her flexibility with her schedule and access to support resources. It was an unexpected gesture that touched Emily deeply. For the first time, she saw Elon not just as a distant billionaire but as someone who understood struggle and sacrifice. That conversation became a lifeline, reminding her that even in the darkest moments, there was hope and support. As weeks passed, the project reached critical stages. Emily worked tirelessly, fueled by a mix of determination and desperation. She wanted to make her mother proud, to prove that despite the hardships, she could rise. Then came the day of the big demonstration, the moment when the entire team showcased their innovation to investors, media, and key stakeholders. The pressure was suffocating. Emily's hands shook as she took the stage, the spotlight blinding. But as she spoke, sharing the story behind the project, the challenges overcome, and the vision for the future, something shifted. The room leaned in, captivated not just by the technology but by the authenticity and passion in her voice. When the applause came, it was thunderous. Tears blurred Emily's vision as relief and joy washed over her. The project was a success. But amid the celebration, her phone buzzed again, another message from the hospital. Diane's condition had stabilized but required ongoing care. Emily knew the road ahead would still be tough, but she felt stronger. She had faced the emotional climax of her journey, balancing ambition with responsibility, hope with heartbreak, and emerged more resilient. That night, as she lay awake, Emily reflected on everything she had learned, the value of perseverance, the importance of support, and the power of believing in oneself despite the odds. Her journey was far from over, but she was no longer the frightened waitress who had once snapped at a billionaire. She was a woman transformed by trials and triumphs, ready to face whatever came next with courage and heart. The glow of the morning sun filtered gently through the curtains as Emily sat by the window of her modest apartment, the city's hum a distant backdrop to her thoughts. After the intense months of upheaval, challenges, and unexpected opportunities, she finally had a moment to breathe and reflect. The project with Elon Musk had not only succeeded, it had changed her life in ways she hadn't imagined possible. But it wasn't just the professional victory that mattered most. It was the transformation within herself, the quiet lessons carved out of struggle and sacrifice, that gave her the deepest satisfaction. Emily thought back to that tense night in the restaurant when she had lashed out at Elon, unaware that he was the owner. What had felt like a mistake, even a humiliation, had become the unexpected catalyst for her new path. It was a reminder that sometimes the lowest moments hold the seeds of greatest change. She realized now that life's twists and turns rarely followed the neat, predictable scripts we hoped for. Instead, they demanded resilience, openness, and sometimes the courage to admit our faults and grow from them. Her relationship with Elon had evolved from that initial awkward confrontation to one of mentorship and mutual respect. He had seen beyond her mistakes, recognizing her grit and potential. But more importantly, Elon had taught her that even those who seem untouchable face their own battles, doubts, and moments of vulnerability. Their collaboration had pushed Emily beyond her comfort zone, challenging her to learn new skills, embrace uncertainty, and believe in the power of innovation combined with heart. But the journey wasn't hers alone. She thought of her mother, Diane, the woman whose tireless love and strength had shaped Emily's very soul. Diane's health had stabilized, and while challenges remained, Emily's growing success had brought new hope to their lives. The sacrifices her mother had made, the quiet nights spent worrying yet never giving up, were a constant source of inspiration. Emily knew she owed every step forward to that foundation of love and sacrifice. Sarah, too, had been her steadfast companion through it all. Their friendship, filled with laughter and honest conversations, had kept Emily grounded when the pressures of the new world threatened to overwhelm her. She was grateful for that reminder that success didn't mean going it alone, it meant recognizing and leaning on the people who cared. Sitting there, Emily felt a surge of gratitude and peace. The fears and doubts that had once clouded her mind now seemed distant echoes, replaced by a clearer vision of who she was becoming. She was no longer just the girl from Toledo, struggling to make ends meet. She was a woman who had faced failure and fear, who had stumbled and risen, who had learned that strength came not from perfection but from persistence. The lessons she carried were simple but profound. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes painful, but love and hope will always lead the way. She thought about the future, still uncertain, but now filled with possibility rather than dread. Whatever challenges came next, Emily felt ready. She would face them with the same determination that had carried her through the darkest nights. The restaurant where it all began remained a symbol, not just of past struggles but of how far she had come. And she knew that her story wasn't over. It was a continuous journey of growth, connection, and courage. Emily reached for her phone and typed a message to the team, a simple note of thanks and encouragement. She smiled, imagining their faces, knowing that they too were part of this shared adventure. Then, with a deep breath, she stood up and looked out over the city. The horizon stretched wide and open, full of light and promise. Life was, indeed, full of surprises. But through it all, love, whether for family, friends, or one's own dreams, would always lead the way. The success of the project brought Emily a newfound confidence, but it also opened the door to a whole new set of challenges that she hadn't anticipated. No longer was she just a waitress or even a hopeful newcomer, she was now part of a high-stakes world where innovation, deadlines, and expectations collided every day. The thrill of accomplishment quickly gave way to the pressure of sustaining momentum. The restaurant, once a backdrop to her struggles, was now the testing ground for cutting-edge technology meant to redefine customer experience. Elon's vision was ambitious, and Emily was at the heart of it. She found herself working closely with engineers and developers, learning to navigate unfamiliar technical language and complex project timelines. Some days were exhilarating, filled with breakthroughs and creative problem-solving. Other days dragged under the weight of setbacks, glitches, and disagreements. At times, Emily felt overwhelmed by the sheer scope of what was expected. There were moments when she questioned if she truly belonged in this fast-paced, demanding environment. But each challenge was also an opportunity to learn and grow. Her team was diverse, and while that sometimes led to clashes of opinion, it also sparked innovation. Emily learned to speak up, to advocate for ideas rooted in real customer needs rather than just technical possibilities. This gave her a voice that was respected and valued. One particularly tough moment came when a key feature of the project failed during a major demonstration. The room filled with tense silence as executives exchanged worried looks. Emily felt the familiar sting of fear and doubt creeping back. But instead of retreating, she stepped forward, proposing a quick workaround and reassuring the team that they could fix the issue before the official launch. Her calm under pressure helped steer the group through the crisis, and the project moved forward stronger. Meanwhile, the balance between work and home life remained delicate. Diane's health required ongoing attention, and Emily juggled hospital visits and caregiving alongside her demanding job. Her mother's resilience inspired Emily, reminding her of why she fought so hard to succeed. Sarah's friendship remained a constant, a safe space where Emily could unwind and find encouragement. As the months passed, Emily noticed changes within herself beyond professional growth. She became more patient, more empathetic, and better able to manage stress without letting it consume her. The journey from that sharp moment of frustration in the restaurant to now was a testament to her evolving strength. The world she once feared was becoming a place where she could thrive. Elon continued to mentor her, pushing her to take risks and embrace failure as a stepping stone rather than a setback. He shared stories of his own struggles, reminding Emily that resilience was key to innovation and success. His support helped her develop not just technical skills but leadership qualities. Emily found herself leading small teams, mentoring others who were new to the world of tech and startups. It was a role she hadn't imagined but one that felt deeply rewarding. Yet, for all the progress, Emily never forgot her roots. She made it a point to spend time back at the restaurant, reconnecting with the staff and customers who had been part of her early life. Those visits grounded her, reminding her of the simple joys and the raw human connections that technology aimed to enhance, not replace. One evening, while working late on a new feature, Emily received an unexpected call from her mother. Diane's voice was softer than usual, tinged with worry. Emily dropped everything and rushed to the hospital, where she found her mother struggling but determined. The experience was a stark reminder of life's fragility and the importance of presence. It fueled Emily's resolve to not just succeed professionally but to cherish every moment with loved ones. Through the highs and lows, Emily's story was one of continuous growth. She learned that success was not a destination but a journey filled with unexpected challenges, moments of doubt, and opportunities for reinvention. The woman who had once snapped at Elon Musk in frustration was now a leader, an innovator, and above all, a person who had embraced the power of transformation. As she looked ahead, Emily knew the road would remain uncertain, but she was ready. With the lessons of the past guiding her and the support of those she cared about, she stepped boldly into the future, ready to write the next chapter of her extraordinary life. Emily's journey was advancing, but just when things seemed to be settling into a promising rhythm, life threw her another curveball. The tech project that had been gaining traction encountered an unexpected setback that shook the entire team. It started with a routine software update that, rather than improving the system, caused glitches affecting customer orders and reservations at the restaurant. The errors led to confusion, frustration among customers, and a flood of complaints. Emily felt a sinking weight in her chest as she read through negative reviews and watched the disappointed faces of longtime patrons. It was a stark reminder that innovation often comes with risk, and the path to success was rarely smooth. The pressure mounted quickly. Investors demanded explanations, the media caught wind of the issues, and internally, tensions rose. Some team members pointed fingers, others withdrew into silence. Emily found herself caught between defending the project and acknowledging its flaws. The emotional toll was immense. She worked long hours trying to identify the root cause, coordinating with engineers and customer service to manage the fallout. The stress seeped into her personal life, her mother's health worsened, and Emily struggled to maintain balance. At one particularly difficult moment, a late-night call from the hospital left her shaken. Diane had experienced complications, and Emily rushed to her side, guilt gnawing at her for being stretched so thin. But even in the darkest moments, Emily found sparks of resilience. Elon reached out, offering support without judgment. Failure is just feedback, he reminded her in a quiet conversation. It's how you respond that defines you. Those words became a lifeline. Emily realized that setbacks weren't the end but part of the growth process. She began rallying her team, shifting the focus from blame to solutions. Open meetings encouraged transparency and collaboration. Slowly, they identified a software bug introduced during the update and worked tirelessly to fix it. The experience bonded the team in unexpected ways, deepening trust and communication. Meanwhile, Emily's relationship with her mother grew even more precious. The hospital visits became a time for quiet connection, stories, and shared strength. Diane's unwavering support inspired Emily to keep pushing forward, despite the obstacles. Outside the workplace, Sarah helped Emily decompress, reminding her to take breaks and care for herself. The setbacks also forced Emily to confront her own limitations and fears. She admitted when she didn't have all the answers and learned to delegate and ask for help. This humility strengthened her leadership and deepened her relationships with colleagues. As the system stabilized and customer confidence returned, Emily reflected on the journey. The setbacks, though painful, had uncovered weaknesses and opportunities for improvement. They had tested her resolve and revealed the true depth of her passion and commitment. The restaurant began to regain its lively spirit, now infused with a new energy born of trial and triumph. Emily walked through the dining room one evening, watching customers smile and servers move gracefully, and she felt a profound sense of accomplishment. She was no longer just reacting to challenges, she was shaping the future. But the experience left her with a lasting lesson: progress wasn't linear, and success required embracing uncertainty with courage and grace. As she prepared for the next phase of the project, Emily carried that wisdom with her, ready to face whatever unexpected turns awaited. Life had taught her that the real journey wasn't just about reaching a destination but about how she grew through each twist and turn. And in that truth, she found strength, hope, and an unshakable belief in the power of resilience. The turning point in Emily's journey arrived quietly, without fanfare, yet it carried a profound weight that shifted everything. After weeks of struggling through setbacks and stress, she found herself standing at a crossroads, one that demanded a choice between retreating into old fears or stepping boldly into a new chapter of leadership and purpose. The catalyst came during a routine team meeting that unexpectedly became a moment of clarity. The room was tense, the recent software glitches had left everyone on edge. But Emily, now more confident and assertive, decided to address the issues head-on. She began by acknowledging the mistakes made but quickly shifted the focus to solutions and collective responsibility. "We can't change the past," she said, her voice steady, "but we can decide how we move forward together." The team's energy shifted. Ideas flowed, collaboration deepened, and a renewed sense of purpose emerged. For Emily, this was more than just problem-solving. It was a revelation about the power of leadership grounded in honesty, empathy, and vision. Around this same time, Emily received unexpected news that her mother's condition was improving. The relief was immense but accompanied by a new awareness of life's fragility and the preciousness of each moment. She resolved to balance her ambitions with mindfulness and gratitude. Meanwhile, Elon invited Emily to participate in a high-profile industry conference, a platform that would expose her work and voice to a much larger audience. The invitation was both an honor and a challenge. Standing on that stage days later, Emily felt the weight of scrutiny and expectation, but she also sensed the profound opportunity to share her story, the struggles, setbacks, and triumphs, with authenticity. Her speech resonated deeply with the audience. She spoke not just about technology but about the human spirit behind innovation, the resilience born of hardship, the courage to face uncertainty, and the importance of community and support. Questions from the crowd sparked lively discussion, and Emily realized she had found a new calling, not just as a creator but as a storyteller and leader inspiring others to persevere. The conference marked a turning point in her career and self-perception. She returned home energized, ready to tackle new challenges with renewed vigor. Back at the restaurant, Emily implemented changes based on lessons learned. She championed a culture of openness and continuous improvement, encouraging team members to speak up and innovate. Customer feedback became a vital part of development, blending technology with human connection. Emily's relationships deepened as she mentored junior colleagues and built bridges between departments. The personal growth she experienced was mirrored in her professional environment. But transformation was never linear. Just as momentum built, Emily faced a personal setback when Diane experienced a relapse. The hospital became a familiar space once again, and Emily juggled caregiving with work demands. This time, however, she was different. She communicated openly with her team about the challenges, delegating responsibilities and setting boundaries to preserve her well-being. Support poured in from unexpected places, including Elon, who shared his own stories of balancing personal hardship with relentless drive. Through these experiences, Emily learned the crucial importance of vulnerability and asking for help. The journey had taught her that strength wasn't about bearing burdens alone but about sharing them and finding solidarity. In the quiet moments between chaos, Emily reflected on how far she had come from the girl who had once been rude to a mysterious billionaire, unaware of his identity. That incident, a source of embarrassment, had become the unlikely beginning of a transformative adventure. She understood now that life's most profound lessons often arise from mistakes and unexpected encounters. With this insight, Emily embraced her evolving identity, a woman shaped by resilience, compassion, and determination. As she looked ahead, she recognized that the turning point wasn't a single event but a series of choices, to face fear, to seek connection, and to grow through adversity. The path was still unfolding, but Emily was no longer afraid of the unknown. She welcomed it as an invitation to continue writing her story, one marked not by perfection but by the courage to keep moving forward, no matter the obstacles. And in that resolve, she found a powerful truth: every ending is also a beginning, and every challenge is a chance to become more fully who we are meant to be. After the conference and the emotional turning points, life for Emily started to take on new dimensions, opening doors she never imagined possible. The recognition she received not only boosted her confidence but also attracted the attention of influential figures in the tech and entrepreneurial world. It was during one of these moments that Emily was approached with an unexpected proposal, an opportunity that would test her in ways beyond technology and innovation. The offer came from a nonprofit organization focused on empowering underrepresented women in tech. They invited her to lead a mentorship program designed to inspire and support young women from diverse backgrounds who aspired to break into the industry. Emily was both honored and overwhelmed. The role aligned perfectly with her experiences and passion, but it also demanded time and emotional investment she wasn't sure she could spare, especially with Diane's ongoing health concerns and the demanding restaurant project. After much reflection, Emily realized that this was a chance to give back, to transform the hardships she had faced into a beacon of hope for others. She accepted the role, determined to balance it with her existing responsibilities. The initial weeks were intense. Emily juggled managing the mentorship program, overseeing the tech project, and caring for her mother. There were moments when exhaustion threatened to take over, but the impact she witnessed kept her going. She met young women full of talent and determination but often lacking guidance and support. Emily's own story resonated deeply with them, the girl from Toledo who had once been a waitress, who had stumbled but kept climbing. Her vulnerability and authenticity created a safe space where men felt seen and empowered. Through workshops, one-on-one coaching, and networking events, Emily helped these women navigate the challenges of the tech world, offering practical advice and emotional support. She shared her lessons about resilience, leadership, and embracing failure as a stepping stone rather than a setback. The program quickly gained traction and praise, becoming a source of pride for Emily and the organization. Simultaneously, the restaurant's tech integration progressed, incorporating feedback and improvements that enhanced both staff efficiency and customer experience. Emily's dual roles complemented each other, reinforcing her belief that technology should serve people, not replace them. At home, Diane's condition remained stable, thanks to ongoing treatment and care. The two grew closer, cherishing moments of laughter and storytelling amidst the difficulties. Diane's unwavering faith in Emily's abilities was a constant source of strength. Emily also leaned on Sarah more than ever, grateful for the friendship that grounded her. As the months unfolded, Emily's life was a balancing act of demands and rewards. The mentorship program enriched her sense of purpose, while the tech project continued to push boundaries. She found herself invited to speak at conferences and panels about diversity and inclusion in technology, using her platform to advocate for change. One memorable event was a panel discussion where Emily shared the stage with industry leaders and activists. She spoke candidly about her journey, from rude waitress to innovator and mentor, and emphasized the importance of creating pathways for women and minorities in tech. The audience responded with enthusiasm, and Emily felt a deep satisfaction knowing her voice was contributing to a larger movement. However, the workload was not without challenges. There were days when the weight of responsibilities and emotional strain felt nearly unbearable. Emily learned to prioritize self-care, scheduling time for rest and reflection, and seeking support when needed. She understood that sustainability was key to long-term success. In quieter moments, Emily reflected on the arc of her journey. The rude waitress who once snapped at Elon Musk had become a woman of influence, compassion, and vision. The unexpected encounter had sparked a series of events that reshaped her identity and future. She realized that opportunities often arrive disguised as challenges or disruptions and that embracing them required courage and openness. Looking ahead, Emily felt a renewed sense of optimism and readiness. The mentorship program, the tech innovations at the restaurant, and the support of loved ones formed a foundation from which she could continue to grow and contribute. She knew there would be setbacks and uncertainties, but she was no longer afraid. Instead, she welcomed the unknown as a space for creativity and transformation. With gratitude in her heart and determination in her step, Emily prepared to face the next chapter of her life, one filled with promise, purpose, and the ongoing journey of becoming the woman she was always meant to be. Just as Emily began to settle into the rhythm of her expanding responsibilities, an unexpected challenge appeared on the horizon, threatening to disrupt the progress she had worked so hard to build. It started with a subtle change, a rumor that began circulating within the company that owned the restaurant and tech project. Whispers about a potential takeover by a larger conglomerate sent ripples of uncertainty through the staff and partners. Emily first heard the news from a concerned colleague, who cautioned that the corporate culture might shift dramatically if the acquisition went through. The prospect unsettled her. She knew the delicate balance between innovation and human connection that had been nurtured at the restaurant could be jeopardized. Over the following weeks, speculation grew. Investors were tight-lipped, and meetings became increasingly tense. Emily found herself caught in the middle, trying to keep the project on track while managing the growing anxiety among her team and the restaurant staff. The thought of losing the environment that had fostered so much creativity and collaboration was painful. Emily also worried about the mentorship program. Would the new ownership support her efforts, or would funding and attention be diverted elsewhere? The uncertainty weighed heavily on her. Meanwhile, Diane's health fluctuated, reminding Emily of the fragility that underscored every ambition. Juggling personal and professional upheaval required all her resilience. Despite the pressure, Emily refused to let fear dictate her actions. She doubled down on communication, holding regular meetings with the team to share what she knew and listen to concerns. She advocated for transparency with the higher-ups, emphasizing the importance of maintaining the project's vision and the people who made it possible. Through this period, Elon remained a steady source of guidance. Drawing from his own experiences with company takeovers and restructuring, he offered practical advice and emotional support. "Change is inevitable," he said, "but how you lead through it defines your legacy." Inspired, Emily focused on what she could control, strengthening relationships, fostering innovation, and staying true to her values. One pivotal moment came during a company-wide town hall meeting where the CEO addressed the rumors. She acknowledged the interest from potential buyers but assured everyone that no decisions had been made yet. The message brought some relief but also a renewed sense of urgency. Emily recognized the need to prepare for multiple scenarios. In the weeks that followed, she organized workshops and brainstorming sessions aimed at reinforcing the team's commitment and adaptability. She encouraged creative problem-solving and emphasized the importance of empathy and support during uncertain times. The mentorship program also became a sanctuary for many, providing not only professional guidance but emotional resilience. Emily's role as a mentor deepened. She found herself drawing from her own journey to help others navigate fear and ambiguity. Outside of work, Emily leaned on Sarah and her close friends more than ever. Their support reminded her that community was vital, not just for success but for survival. Through shared meals, late-night talks, and quiet moments of laughter, she recharged and found perspective. Diane's ongoing health struggles continued to be a reminder of what truly mattered. Emily treasured the moments they spent together, finding strength in their bond. As the potential acquisition process unfolded, Emily also discovered unexpected allies within the company, colleagues who shared her passion for preserving the culture and vision. Together, they formed informal groups to advocate for employee interests and innovative approaches that could appeal to any new leadership. This coalition became a source of hope and action. After months of tension, the company announced that negotiations were underway with a potential buyer. Emily braced herself for the outcome but remained committed to leading with integrity. Then, in a surprising turn, the deal fell through. The buyer withdrew, citing concerns about the company's future direction. Relief swept through the staff, but Emily knew the reprieve was temporary. The episode underscored the volatility of the business world and the necessity of resilience. The experience left Emily with a deeper understanding of leadership under pressure. She realized that success wasn't just about innovation or strategy but about emotional intelligence, trust, and the ability to inspire others through uncertainty. The challenge had tested her in new ways, forcing her to grow beyond her previous limits. Reflecting on this turbulent period, Emily felt proud of the strength and unity that had emerged from adversity. She saw clearly that every obstacle was also an opportunity to deepen connections, clarify purpose, and build resilience. The unexpected challenge had transformed into a catalyst for growth, not just for her but for the entire community she helped lead. Looking forward, Emily embraced the unpredictability of her path with renewed confidence. She knew that challenges would come and go, but the lessons she had learned would endure. With her heart anchored in love and her mind sharp with experience, she prepared to face the next chapter of her remarkable journey, ready to transform uncertainty into possibility once again. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? In the wake of the thwarted acquisition, Emily found herself at a pivotal crossroads. The company was safe for now, but the experience had underscored the need to build stronger foundations, both within the organization and in her personal network. The days that followed brought a flurry of meetings, strategy sessions, and outreach efforts aimed at securing the project's future and expanding its impact. Emily recognized that to thrive in an unpredictable landscape, she needed allies, partners who shared her vision and could amplify her efforts. It began with conversations reaching beyond the restaurant and tech teams. Emily tapped into her growing network from the mentorship program, reaching out to leaders in the tech community, nonprofit sectors, and even unexpected corners of the business world. She was determined to forge new alliances that would not only support the current initiatives but open doors to innovation and sustainability. One connection led to another, and soon Emily found herself collaborating with a diverse group of individuals passionate about technology, social impact, and entrepreneurship. Among them was Marcus, a charismatic entrepreneur whose startup focused on sustainable food sourcing and community engagement. His mission aligned closely with Emily's desire to blend technology with human-centered values. Marcus brought fresh energy and ideas to the table, and their partnership quickly blossomed into a dynamic collaboration. Together, they envisioned a project that integrated smart tech solutions with local agriculture, aiming to reduce waste and enhance the restaurant's connection to the community. The idea sparked excitement among the team and stakeholders alike. Emily also connected with Lena, a nonprofit leader dedicated to empowering women in STEM fields. Lena's organization had resources and expertise that complemented Emily's mentorship program, offering new opportunities for growth and outreach. Their alliance expanded the scope and reach of the program, bringing in funding, volunteers, and visibility. Emily marveled at how these new relationships enriched her work and amplified its impact. Each alliance brought fresh perspectives, resources, and enthusiasm, creating a web of support that transcended traditional boundaries. At the same time, Emily deepened her relationship with Elon Musk, who became a mentor not only in business strategy but in navigating the complexities of leadership and innovation. His willingness to share insights and encouragement was invaluable, yet Emily maintained her own voice and vision, learning to blend guidance with authenticity. The collaboration with Elon also introduced Emily to cutting-edge technologies and emerging trends, inspiring new directions for her projects. Back at the restaurant, the infusion of ideas and partnerships sparked a renewed atmosphere of creativity and possibility. The team embraced the integration of sustainable practices, tech innovations, and community engagement with enthusiasm. Emily's leadership was marked by openness and inclusivity, encouraging everyone to contribute and innovate. Yet, amidst the excitement, Emily remained grounded in the realities of managing a complex and sometimes fragile ecosystem. Challenges arose, technical glitches, budget constraints, and occasional resistance to change, but the alliances she had built provided a strong foundation to face them. The partnerships offered not only resources but also moral support and shared problem-solving. On a personal level, Emily's life was enriched by these new connections. She found herself invited to events, panels, and collaborative workshops that expanded her worldview and professional network. The friendships she developed were based on mutual respect and shared purpose, adding depth and joy to her journey. Diane's health continued to improve gradually, a steady beacon of hope amid the whirlwind. Emily treasured their moments together, often sharing stories about her new allies and projects, drawing strength from her mother's wisdom and encouragement. Sarah remained a constant presence, providing laughter, balance, and unwavering support. The balance between growth and stability became a central theme for Emily. She learned to navigate the tension between pushing forward and honoring the need for rest and reflection. The new alliances she formed were key to this balance, reminding her that no one achieves success alone. As months passed, the fruits of these collaborations began to appear. The restaurant implemented pilot programs for sustainable sourcing, reducing waste by significant margins. The mentorship program expanded its reach, placing more women in internships and leadership roles within tech companies. Emily's voice grew stronger on national platforms advocating for innovation with heart and social responsibility. Yet, despite the progress and acclaim, Emily remained humble and focused on the journey rather than the destination. She knew the path was long and winding, filled with surprises and lessons yet to come. Her vision was not just about personal success but about creating lasting change that honored the complexity and interconnectedness of life and work. One evening, after a long day of meetings and events, Emily sat quietly in the restaurant's dining room, watching the interplay of light and shadow across the familiar space. The hum of conversations, clinking glasses, and soft music created a comforting backdrop. In that moment, she reflected on the unexpected twists that had brought her here, from a rude waitress who unknowingly challenged a billionaire to a leader forging new paths with courage and compassion. She understood that the alliances she had built were more than professional connections, they were lifelines weaving together a community committed to growth, resilience, and hope. Emily smiled softly, feeling a profound gratitude for the journey and the people who had joined her along the way. The future remained uncertain, but with new alliances and a heart full of determination, she was ready to face whatever came next. The story she was writing was far from over, each chapter richer and more meaningful than the last. Just when Emily felt the momentum of her projects and alliances building steadily, an unforeseen setback threatened to unravel much of the progress she had fought so hard to achieve. It came in the form of a sudden software malfunction that disrupted the restaurant's operations, triggering a cascade of frustrations among staff and customers alike. What began as a minor glitch quickly escalated into a major technical failure, causing orders to be delayed, inventory to be mismanaged, and morale to plummet. The timing couldn't have been worse. The restaurant was preparing for a high-profile event designed to showcase its innovative blend of technology and sustainable practices to influential investors and community leaders. Emily felt the pressure mounting from all directions, her team's disappointment, the looming event, and the gnawing fear that this setback might signal a deeper vulnerability in the systems she had helped put in place. As the crisis unfolded, Emily threw herself into problem-solving with relentless determination. She convened emergency meetings with the tech team, sought advice from industry experts, and worked late into the night troubleshooting issues. Her mentorship program even rallied, offering fresh perspectives and moral support. Yet, despite the collective effort, the root cause of the malfunction remained elusive, and tension ran high. At the same time, Emily's personal life reflected the strain. Diane's health took a slight downturn, requiring more attention and care. Emily found herself stretched thin, caught between the demands of leadership and the responsibilities of family. The pressure threatened to overwhelm her, stirring old fears of failure and inadequacy. In the midst of this turmoil, Emily experienced a profound moment of revelation. During a rare quiet afternoon, she stepped away from screens and meetings to visit the nearby park, a place that had long offered solace amid chaos. Sitting on a bench beneath the dappled shade of a tree, she allowed herself to breathe deeply and reflect. It became clear that her relentless push for control and perfection had blinded her to the importance of patience, trust, and collaboration. She realized that leadership was not about having all the answers but about fostering an environment where others could contribute, learn, and grow together. This insight prompted a shift in approach. Instead of trying to solve every problem herself, Emily began delegating more, empowering her team to take ownership and experiment with solutions. She encouraged open dialogue, embracing the uncertainty rather than fearing it. This change transformed the atmosphere. Frustration gave way to creativity, and despair was replaced by hope. As the restaurant's systems gradually stabilized, the high-profile event went ahead, albeit with some hiccups. Despite the challenges, the event was a success in unexpected ways. Investors and guests were impressed not only by the technology and sustainable initiatives but also by the transparency and resilience demonstrated by the team. Emily's candid acknowledgement of setbacks and her leadership through crisis resonated deeply. The event sparked new interest and support, reinforcing the value of authenticity and perseverance. Parallel to these professional trials, Emily's mentorship program deepened in impact. She shared her recent struggles openly with ments, modeling vulnerability and strength. The women responded with admiration and renewed motivation, inspired to face their own challenges with courage. Emily also took time to reflect on the lessons from Diane's health journey, recognizing the parallels between care for people and care for projects. Both required patience, attention, and a willingness to adapt. Through this season of setback and revelation, Emily grew in wisdom and grace. She understood that setbacks were not signs of failure but invitations to evolve. The experience reinforced her commitment to leading with empathy, collaboration, and resilience. By the time Diane's health improved once again and the restaurant systems were fully restored, Emily felt a renewed sense of purpose and confidence. The revelation had been a turning point, not only for the projects she led but for the woman she was becoming. She embraced the ongoing journey with humility and determination, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead with an open heart and a clear vision. The setback had tested her resolve, but it had also illuminated the path forward, a path marked by trust in herself, her team, and the unpredictable beauty of growth through adversity. After weathering the storm of the technical malfunction and personal challenges, Emily found herself at a pivotal turning point, one that would redefine not only her career but also her understanding of leadership, resilience, and purpose. The days following the crisis revealed a new depth in her relationships and a clearer vision for the future, shaped by hard-earned lessons and unexpected insights. It began with a conversation that felt both ordinary and profound. During a routine mentorship session, one of Emily's ments, a young woman named Jasmine, shared her story of overcoming obstacles in a male-dominated tech company. Jasmine's honesty and determination resonated deeply with Emily, reminding her of her own journey from uncertainty to confidence. This exchange sparked an idea: what if the mentorship program could evolve into a broader platform, a community where women not only received guidance but actively shaped the future of technology and leadership? Energized by this vision, Emily convened a meeting with Lena, her nonprofit partner, and Marcus, the entrepreneur ally. Together, they began to brainstorm ways to expand the program's scope and impact. They envisioned a hub for innovation, education, and empowerment, an ecosystem where women could connect, collaborate, and lead with authenticity and strength. This turning point sparked a wave of creative energy that rippled through Emily's projects. The restaurant became a testing ground for new initiatives, integrating technology that promoted accessibility and inclusivity, ensuring that the space welcomed diverse communities and fostered connection. Emily's leadership style continued to evolve, embracing a balance of strategic vision and compassionate presence. She prioritized building trust, encouraging risk-taking, and celebrating both successes and failures as part of growth. In parallel, Diane's health stabilized, allowing Emily more space to focus on her expanding initiatives. Their relationship deepened, filled with moments of shared reflection, laughter, and mutual respect. Diane's wisdom and experience grounded Emily, reminding her of the importance of patience and perspective. Sarah remained a steadfast friend and confidant, offering support and humor that lightened even the most challenging days. As the new community platform took shape, Emily faced fresh challenges: securing funding, managing diverse stakeholders, and navigating the complexities of scaling a mission-driven organization. Yet, armed with the insights gained from previous setbacks and triumphs, she approached these hurdles with renewed confidence and flexibility. Emily also embraced public speaking opportunities, sharing her evolving vision with wider audiences. Her authenticity and passion captivated listeners, inspiring others to join the movement toward inclusive innovation. Media attention grew, bringing both opportunities and scrutiny. Through it all, Emily stayed true to her values, using her platform to highlight the importance of empathy, resilience, and collaboration in leadership. One particularly memorable moment was a keynote speech at a national technology conference, where Emily spoke about the power of turning setbacks into stepping stones. She recounted her journey candidly: the rude waitress moment, the technical failures, the mentorship breakthroughs, and emphasized that leadership was a continuous process of learning and adapting. The speech was met with standing ovations and sparked widespread conversation. Behind the scenes, Emily's projects flourished. The restaurant's integration of community-driven technology attracted new customers and partners, while the mentorship program's expansion created tangible pathways for women to enter and thrive in tech careers. The ecosystem they built became a beacon of hope and progress. Reflecting on this turning point, Emily understood that success was not a destination but a dynamic journey shaped by relationships, challenges, and the courage to evolve. She embraced the uncertainties ahead with optimism, knowing that each step forward was a testament to resilience and vision. The chapter of transformation had opened a new horizon. One where Emily could lead not only with expertise but with heart, inspiring others to do the same. As she looked toward the future, Emily felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The woman who once snapped at a stranger in a restaurant had grown into a leader who inspired change on multiple fronts. The turning point was more than a moment, it was a movement, a commitment to creating a world where innovation and empathy walked hand in hand. With that conviction, Emily prepared to embark on the next chapter of her extraordinary journey, ready to face new challenges and opportunities with unwavering courage and grace. Despite the momentum and growing recognition, Emily soon found herself grappling with a crisis of confidence that threatened to shake the foundation she had so carefully built. The high-profile success and expanding responsibilities brought an unexpected weight, stirring self-doubt and anxiety that crept into her thoughts like shadows at dusk. It began subtly. A hesitation before meetings, a nagging fear that her ideas weren't good enough, that she was somehow an imposter in the world of tech leadership. These feelings were compounded by the relentless pace of her work and the pressure to meet the expectations of investors, partners, mentors, and even herself. At night, she wrestled with the question, was she truly equipped to lead this movement? The crisis unfolded quietly but intensely. Emily found herself second-guessing decisions, rereading emails with a critical eye, and retreating into solitude more often than before. The usual spark of creativity flickered, replaced by a heavy fog of uncertainty. She worried that the setbacks of the past, the software failure, the corporate rumors, had left unseen cracks in her confidence. Compounding this internal struggle was a new challenge at the restaurant. A disagreement with Marcus, her entrepreneurial partner, over the direction of their sustainable food initiative exposed underlying tensions. Marcus favored rapid expansion and aggressive marketing, while Emily prioritized steady growth and community engagement. The clash shook her resolve and made her question whether the alliances she had built could withstand the pressures of growth. In these moments of vulnerability, Emily was reminded of her earliest days, when she had snapped at a customer, unaware of the man she was confronting. That rude moment had been a turning point, but it also symbolized the rawness and imperfection that lived inside her. She realized that embracing her flaws and uncertainties was essential to authentic leadership. Seeking support, Emily turned to Elon Musk, whose own history was marked by public scrutiny and high-stakes challenges. Their conversations became a lifeline. Honest, unfiltered talks where Elon shared his struggles with self-doubt and the burdens of expectation. He emphasized that confidence was not the absence of fear but the courage to move forward despite it. This perspective offered Emily a new lens through which to view her crisis. She began to practice self-compassion and mindfulness, recognizing that leadership was a journey of continual growth rather than flawless execution. Emily also leaned heavily on her close friends, especially Sarah, who reminded her of her strengths and grounded her when anxiety threatened to spiral. Through their encouragement, Emily gradually reclaimed her voice and vision. Simultaneously, she addressed the tension with Marcus by initiating an open, honest dialogue. They acknowledged their differing priorities and values and found common ground in their shared commitment to the project's mission. This reconciliation strengthened their partnership and reaffirmed the power of communication and empathy in overcoming conflicts. At the restaurant, Emily introduced new initiatives that balanced growth with community focus, integrating feedback from staff, customers, and partners. The process was iterative and sometimes messy, but it reinforced the importance of adaptability and collaboration. Meanwhile, the mentorship program continued to flourish, offering Emily both inspiration and a reminder of why she pursued this path. Hearing the stories of women overcoming obstacles, finding their voices, and stepping into leadership roles reignited her passion and purpose. As weeks turned into months, Emily's crisis of confidence slowly gave way to renewed strength. She recognized that vulnerability was not a weakness but a source of connection and authenticity. By embracing uncertainty, she became a more compassionate leader, one who could hold space for complexity and imperfection. The experience deepened her empathy, not only for herself but for those she led. Reflecting on this challenging period, Emily understood that the true measure of leadership was not in never faltering but in rising each time she stumbled. Her journey was far from over, but she now faced the future with a steadier heart and a clearer sense of self. The crisis of confidence had been a crucible, transforming fear into courage and doubt into determination. With this new perspective, Emily was ready to tackle the next chapter of her story, leading with humility, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to her vision of inclusive innovation and community. Just as Emily began to regain her footing after the crisis of confidence, an unexpected opportunity arrived that would catapult her and her projects into a new realm of possibility. It came in the form of an invitation to participate in a prestigious innovation summit held in Silicon Valley, a gathering of visionary leaders, investors, and pioneers shaping the future of technology and society. The invitation was both an honor and a challenge, as it promised exposure and potential partnerships but also heightened scrutiny and pressure. Emily knew this could be a defining moment, a chance to showcase her vision on a global stage and secure the resources needed to scale her initiatives. The preparation for the summit demanded focus and strategic thinking. Emily spent days refining her presentation, weaving together the threads of technology, sustainability, and community empowerment into a compelling narrative. She practiced storytelling techniques she had learned over the years, aiming to connect not just intellectually but emotionally with her audience. The support from her team, mentors, and friends was unwavering. Diane, whose health had continued to improve, offered encouragement and reminded Emily to stay grounded in her purpose. Sarah helped her rehearse and stay calm, providing comic relief during tense moments. Marcus contributed insights on market trends and potential investors, while Lena offered perspectives on social impact and inclusivity. As the day of the summit arrived, Emily felt a mixture of excitement and nerves. Walking into the grand conference hall, she was surrounded by towering displays, buzzing conversations, and the hum of innovation. The scale of the event was awe-inspiring, yet Emily remained centered, drawing strength from the community she had built and the journey that had brought her here. When her turn came to speak, Emily stepped onto the stage with quiet confidence. She began with a question that immediately engaged the audience: what if technology could not only advance business but also nurture community and protect our planet? From there, she told the story of the restaurant's transformation, the mentorship program's growth, and the partnerships that had fueled their success. She shared the setbacks and revelations, the moments of doubt and resilience, painting a vivid picture of leadership rooted in empathy and collaboration. The audience responded with enthusiasm, their applause affirming the power of her message. The presentation opened doors. Investors approached Emily with offers of funding, companies expressed interest in collaboration, and media outlets sought interviews. Yet, Emily remained discerning, committed to aligning with partners who shared her values and vision. The summit also introduced Emily to a remarkable individual. Ava, a venture capitalist known for supporting socially responsible startups and women-led ventures. Ava's passion for innovation with impact resonated deeply with Emily, and their connection quickly evolved into a mentorship and partnership. Together, they explored ways to expand the reach of the mentorship program, integrating cutting-edge technology and creating scalable models for community engagement. This unexpected opportunity became a catalyst for growth, enabling Emily to amplify her impact and deepen the integration of technology and social good. Back home, the ripple effects were palpable. The restaurant implemented new tech solutions inspired by insights gained at the summit, improving efficiency and customer experience. The mentorship program launched pilot projects in several new cities, reaching more women and fostering diverse leadership. Emily's voice grew louder in public discourse, advocating for a future where innovation served humanity and the environment. Amidst this whirlwind, Emily remained mindful of the lessons learned from past challenges. She prioritized balance, self-care, and authentic connections, recognizing that sustainability applied not only to projects but to people. Diane's steady presence and Sarah's friendship continued to anchor her, reminding her of the importance of roots amid growth. Reflecting on this phase of her journey, Emily marveled at how an unexpected invitation had opened pathways she hadn't imagined. It reaffirmed her belief in the power of openness, courage, and community. The opportunity was more than a professional milestone, it was a reminder that sometimes, the most profound breakthroughs come when we embrace uncertainty and step boldly into the unknown. As Emily prepared for the next steps, she felt a renewed sense of purpose and excitement. The path ahead was still full of challenges, but also rich with possibility. With new alliances, resources, and insights, she was ready to lead with vision and heart, shaping a future where technology and humanity thrive together. The unexpected opportunity was not just a moment of success, it was a gateway to the next chapter of transformation, one that promised growth, impact, and the ongoing adventure of turning dreams into reality. The exhilarating wave of success that followed the Silicon Valley summit soon brought with it an unexpected burden, the strain of sustaining momentum amid rapid growth. For Emily, what initially felt like a dream unfolding turned quickly into a complex balancing act, where the demands of leadership began to weigh heavily on her personal and professional life. The expanded scope of the mentorship program, the influx of investors, the new partnerships, all required constant attention, strategic planning, and delicate negotiation. Suddenly, Emily found herself pulled in multiple directions, her days packed with back-to-back meetings, travel, and decision-making that sometimes felt overwhelming. The restaurant, once a manageable project rooted in community and innovation, became a sprawling enterprise that needed hands-on management and continuous innovation. The pressure to meet expectations, both external and internal, became palpable. Investors sought quick returns, partners pushed for aggressive timelines, and Ments looked to Emily for guidance amid their own challenges. This intense pace left little room for reflection or rest. Emily's personal life began to show cracks under the strain. Despite Diane's improving health, Emily struggled to maintain the quality time and emotional support that their relationship deserved. Phone calls were rushed, visits shortened, and moments of connection too few. Sarah, ever the loyal friend, noticed the toll and gently urged Emily to slow down and care for herself, but Emily's sense of responsibility made it hard to step back. The internal dialogue grew louder. Was she doing enough? Was she sacrificing too much? Was success worth the price? As stress mounted, Emily began to experience symptoms of burnout, exhaustion, irritability, and moments of self-doubt resurfaced with renewed intensity. One particularly challenging day, after a tense board meeting and a cancelled visit with Diane, Emily found herself sitting alone in her office, overwhelmed by the weight of expectations. The phone buzzed incessantly with messages and emails, each demanding attention. In that quiet moment, Emily faced the uncomfortable truth that she could not carry everything on her own. Reaching out for help was no longer optional, it was essential. Emily took a crucial step by convening a leadership retreat for her core team. The retreat was designed not only to strategize next phases but also to rebuild trust, delegate responsibilities, and foster a culture of shared ownership. It was a turning point in how the organization operated, shifting from a founder-centered model to a collaborative, empowered ecosystem. The process was not without tension. Some team members were resistant to change, fearing loss of control or increased accountability. Emily had to navigate these dynamics with patience and honesty, sharing her own vulnerabilities and inviting open dialogue. Gradually, the team embraced the new approach, fueled by a shared commitment to the mission and a desire for sustainable growth. Simultaneously, Emily prioritized personal boundaries and self-care. She reconnected with Diane through intentional, quality time, deepening their bond and gaining renewed emotional strength. Emily also renewed her commitment to mindfulness practices, meditation, exercise, and creative outlets, that helped her manage stress and cultivate resilience. Sarah became a crucial anchor in this phase, reminding Emily of the importance of friendship and laughter even amid chaos. The experience taught Emily that leadership was not about relentless hustle but about balance, trust, and community. She realized that by sharing the load and caring for herself, she could lead more effectively and authentically. The strain of success had been a harsh but necessary lesson, one that deepened her empathy for others facing similar pressures and strengthened her resolve to build supportive networks. As the organization stabilized under the new leadership model, Emily found renewed joy in her work. The mentorship program's impact grew, the restaurant continued to innovate, and partnerships flourished. Emily's voice in the public sphere became more grounded and inspiring, resonating with leaders navigating their own complexities. Reflecting on this chapter, Emily understood that success was a double-edged sword, bringing opportunity and challenge in equal measure. The key was not to avoid the strain but to meet it with courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to adapt. The strain of success had revealed a deeper truth, that true leadership required not only vision but humility, care, and the wisdom to know when to lean on others. With this insight, Emily was ready to embrace the next phase of her journey, confident that she could sustain her impact without losing herself. The road ahead remained full of surprises, but Emily felt equipped to navigate it with grace, strength, and a heart open to the possibilities of transformation. Just when Emily thought she had found a stable rhythm, a challenge emerged from within the very heart of the community she had nurtured, one that tested her leadership in unforeseen ways. The mentorship program, which had blossomed into a vibrant network of women supporting women, suddenly faced a schism sparked by differing visions and expectations among its members. It began with subtle disagreements during regional meetings, disputes over priorities, resource allocation, and program direction. Some members advocated for expanding into more cities rapidly, emphasizing reach and numbers, while others argued for deepening the quality and impact of existing initiatives before scaling. The debates, initially constructive, gradually became polarized, causing friction and diminishing the spirit of unity that had defined the group. Emily found herself in the eye of this storm, grappling with how to balance diverse perspectives while preserving the core mission. The tension escalated when a vocal faction publicly questioned the program's leadership and transparency, demanding changes that threatened to fracture the organization. This internal conflict cut deeply, as it challenged not only Emily's strategic decisions but also her ability to foster trust and inclusivity. In response, Emily called for a series of listening sessions, open forums where members could voice concerns, share experiences, and collaboratively explore solutions. These sessions were emotionally charged but essential. Emily listened carefully, acknowledging the validity of differing viewpoints and affirming the shared commitment that bound them. She emphasized that disagreement was a natural part of growth and innovation but must be navigated with respect and empathy. Throughout this process, Emily relied heavily on the leadership principles she had developed: transparency, vulnerability, and inclusive dialogue. She shared her own uncertainties and invited feedback, creating space for honest conversations that had been absent before. The challenge from within became an opportunity for collective reflection and renewal. Emily also sought external guidance, consulting with organizational development experts and facilitators skilled in conflict resolution. These professionals helped the group establish clearer governance structures and decision-making processes that balanced autonomy with accountability. Simultaneously, Emily worked closely with Ava, her venture capitalist partner, who provided strategic advice on managing growth while preserving mission integrity. Ava's experience with complex organizations proved invaluable in navigating the delicate dynamics at play. As the community wrestled with these challenges, Emily's leadership was tested in new ways. She learned to hold space for discomfort, to resist quick fixes, and to prioritize long-term cohesion over short-term appeasement. The process required patience, resilience, and a commitment to core values amid uncertainty. The schism, though painful, ultimately strengthened the organization. The newly established frameworks empowered members with greater voice and responsibility, fostering a culture of shared leadership and mutual respect. The mentorship program emerged more united, with renewed clarity of purpose and an inclusive approach to growth. For Emily, this internal challenge was a profound lesson in the complexities of leading a diverse, mission-driven community. It reminded her that even the most inspiring visions must be continually nurtured through dialogue, adaptability, and a willingness to confront difficult truths. The experience deepened her empathy and sharpened her skills as a leader who listens as much as she guides. On a personal level, the ordeal reinforced the importance of self-care and support systems. Emily leaned on Diane and Sarah, whose unwavering encouragement helped her navigate moments of doubt and exhaustion. Their presence was a reminder that leadership was never a solitary journey but a shared path illuminated by connection and care. As the mentorship program stabilized and flourished anew, Emily felt a profound sense of accomplishment mixed with humility. The challenge from within had tested her resolve but also expanded her capacity for leadership grounded in authenticity and collaboration. Looking ahead, Emily recognized that this was not the end of internal struggles but part of the ongoing evolution inherent in any vibrant community. With a strengthened foundation and deeper wisdom, she was prepared to guide her organization through future challenges and opportunities alike. The chapter closed with Emily embracing the messy, dynamic reality of leadership. One that required courage to face conflict, humility to learn, and heart to unite. This experience, like the many before, became a building block in her journey toward creating lasting impact and meaningful change. After months of navigating internal conflicts and external pressures, Emily reached a pivotal moment in her journey, the turning point that would redefine her vision and solidify her legacy. This phase emerged not from a single event but from a series of realizations and actions that converged to bring clarity, purpose, and momentum. The catalyst came unexpectedly during a community summit organized by the mentorship program. Hundreds of women gathered to share their stories, celebrate achievements, and envision the future. The energy in the room was electric, filled with hope, determination, and a sense of belonging that transcended individual struggles. Emily stood on stage, looking out at faces illuminated by anticipation and resolve. It was a powerful reminder of why she had embarked on this path, to create spaces where women could rise together, fueled by support and opportunity. During the summit, a young man named Jasmine approached Emily with a heartfelt story. Jasmine spoke of overcoming adversity, from a difficult childhood to economic hardship, and how the mentorship program had transformed her life. Her words were raw and inspiring, embodying the profound impact of Emily's work. This encounter rekindled Emily's passion and reaffirmed her belief in the program's mission. Inspired by Jasmine's story, Emily realized that the next phase required deepening the program's focus on individualized support and systemic change. She envisioned creating partnerships with educational institutions, corporations, and policymakers to address barriers women faced in leadership roles. Following the summit, Emily convened her leadership team to chart a bold new course. They developed strategic initiatives aimed at expanding access to education, providing career development resources, and advocating for equitable workplace policies. This comprehensive approach sought to transform not just individual lives but the broader ecosystem that shaped opportunities for women. The turning point also marked a shift in Emily's leadership style. She embraced a more collaborative approach, empowering others to take ownership and contribute their expertise. Delegating became an act of trust, freeing her to focus on visionary work and relationship building. The team flourished under this renewed energy, innovating programs that blended technology, mentorship, and advocacy. Simultaneously, Emily continued to nurture the restaurant and sustainable food initiatives, integrating them as community hubs that reinforced the program's values. These spaces became vibrant centers for dialogue, learning, and celebration, bridging diverse groups and fostering inclusivity. As the initiatives gained traction, Emily attracted wider recognition. Media features, awards, and invitations to speak at global forums amplified her message and opened doors to new collaborations. Yet, amid the accolades, Emily remained grounded, guided by the stories of those she served and the belief that true success was measured by impact, not fame. The turning point was also personal. Emily's relationship with Diane deepened into a source of strength and wisdom, reminding her of the importance of love and connection beyond work. With Sarah's support, Emily cultivated balance, joy, and resilience in her life. Reflecting on this transformative period, Emily understood that the turning point was not a destination but a continuous process of growth and renewal. It required courage to embrace change, humility to learn from setbacks, and vision to imagine new possibilities. This chapter of her journey crystallized into a powerful lesson, that leadership is about evolving with purpose and heart, inspiring others to rise as we rise ourselves. As Emily prepared for the future, she felt a profound sense of readiness. The turning point had sharpened her focus, expanded her network, and deepened her commitment. The path ahead was still filled with challenges, but she faced it with renewed clarity and strength. The story that began with a rude encounter in a restaurant had blossomed into a movement, one fueled by resilience, connection, and unwavering belief in the power of community. The turning point was the moment when all the pieces aligned, transforming obstacles into opportunities and dreams into reality. With this momentum, Emily was poised to lead the next chapter of innovation, impact, and change, inspiring countless others to believe in their own potential and the power of collective progress. The journey that had begun with an unexpected confrontation in a bustling restaurant now reached its resolution, a moment of reflection, growth, and profound understanding for Emily. As the dust settled on years of relentless effort, triumphs, setbacks, and transformations, Emily found herself in a quiet space to contemplate what her story truly meant, not just for herself but for everyone who had been touched by her work. The restaurant, once merely a workplace where a moment of tension had sparked the entire saga, had become a symbol of resilience and connection. It stood as a testament to how chance encounters and human interactions could ripple outward, creating waves of change. Emily's relationship with the restaurant evolved as well. No longer just a venue or a business, it had transformed into a community hub, a place where people gathered not only to eat but to share ideas, dreams, and support. It was a living embodiment of the values she had fought to instill: empathy, innovation, and collaboration. Looking back, Emily marveled at the chain of events that had brought her to this point. What started as a brusque misunderstanding with a high-profile customer had unraveled into a profound journey of self-discovery and leadership. Each challenge had peeled back layers of doubt, fear, and resistance, revealing deeper strengths and a clearer sense of purpose. The lessons learned were many. Emily realized that leadership was far more than guiding a project or managing a team. It was about fostering trust, embracing vulnerability, and inspiring others through authenticity. The toughest moments, the conflicts, the burnout, the internal struggles, had been the crucibles that forged her resilience and wisdom. Central to this transformation was love, in its many forms. The unwavering support of Diane, whose health and spirit had mirrored Emily's own growth, the steadfast friendship of Sarah, whose laughter and honesty kept Emily grounded, the bonds with mentor and partners who became family, and the broader community united by shared dreams. Love, Emily understood, was the invisible thread weaving together success and meaning. The mentorship program, once a fledgling initiative, had become a beacon of possibility for countless women. Its impact was not measured only in statistics but in stories, of confidence regained, barriers broken, and lives changed. Emily cherished these stories as the true legacy of her work, a living proof that one person's courage and vision could ignite collective transformation. Technology, too, played a vital role. But rather than a cold force, Emily had learned to harness it as a tool for connection and empowerment. From digital platforms that bridge geographical divides to data-driven approaches that enhance support, technology was woven seamlessly into the human fabric of the community. Reflecting on the evolution of her leadership, Emily acknowledged the importance of balance. The journey had taught her that ambition and compassion must coexist, that growth without care could lead to burnout and division, and that success meant little without integrity and joy. She committed to carrying these principles forward, both in her work and personal life. As she looked toward the future, Emily felt a profound sense of hope and readiness. The path ahead was open and filled with possibilities, new challenges to embrace, new communities to uplift, and new innovations to explore. But no matter what came next, the foundation was solid: a heart open to learning, a community built on trust, and a vision rooted in love. The final reflection that resonated deeply was this: life is full of surprises, but love will always lead the way. This truth, distilled from years of trials and triumphs, became Emily's guiding star. It was a message she shared freely, inviting others to find courage in their struggles and strength in connection. The story that had begun with a rude encounter in a restaurant had blossomed into a narrative of transformation, not just of one woman but of an entire community. Emily's journey embodied the belief that our greatest challenges can become our greatest opportunities when met with heart, courage, and an unwavering commitment to something greater than ourselves. As the sun set over the cityscape visible from her office window, Emily smiled, grateful for the journey and eager for the chapters yet unwritten. The resolution was not an end but a new beginning, one that honored the past, celebrated the present, and embraced the future with open arms. Emily stood at the cusp of a new chapter in her life, a chapter she called New Horizons, filled with promise and uncharted possibilities. After years of battling internal conflicts, nurturing a community, and transforming a simple restaurant encounter into a movement, she was ready to push beyond what she had imagined. The mentorship program she had developed was no longer just a local initiative, it had become a model attracting national attention. Invitations came from across the country, from organizations eager to replicate her approach of combining community support, technology, and personal empowerment. The opportunity to partner with a national coalition focused on women's entrepreneurship was a turning point. This coalition was a network of nonprofits, businesses, and policymakers dedicated to dismantling systemic barriers and unlocking opportunities for women entrepreneurs nationwide. Emily recognized that joining this coalition meant scaling her vision in ways she had only dreamed of. She dove headfirst into the partnership, excited by the prospect of expanding her impact beyond her city. Together with coalition leaders, Emily designed adaptable programs tailored to the diverse needs of urban and rural communities alike. Leveraging technology, they created data-driven tools to identify local challenges and monitor progress. Emily's team collaborated with policy experts to advocate for laws supporting women-owned businesses, from tax incentives to access to education and capital. These policy efforts aimed to reshape the very structures that had long hindered women's economic advancement. Coalition meetings were exhilarating, brimming with energy and innovative ideas. Leaders from finance, education, government, and technology sectors brought unique perspectives, enriching Emily's vision and inspiring new strategies. Each conversation deepened her understanding of the multifaceted challenges women entrepreneurs faced, from childcare shortages to credit discrimination, and sparked creative solutions that crossed traditional boundaries. Meanwhile, the restaurant continued to serve as a vibrant community hub where ideas flowed freely, and connections were forged. Emily launched new events centered on social entrepreneurship, inviting activists, creatives, and business owners to share their stories and expertise. These gatherings sparked collaborations and encouraged aspiring entrepreneurs to pursue their dreams with renewed confidence. Balancing the demands of national coalition leadership with local operations tested Emily's skills like never before. She had to delegate more, trusting her leadership team to manage day-to-day affairs while she focused on strategy and advocacy. This shift wasn't easy, relinquishing control brought moments of doubt, but it ultimately empowered her team and sparked innovation. On a personal level, the intensity of Emily's commitment sometimes strained her relationships. The pressure to succeed and the long hours left little room for self-care or downtime. Yet, the support from Diane and Sarah remained a cornerstone of her resilience. Diane's unwavering love and insight grounded Emily during turbulent times, while Sarah's humor and honesty reminded her to find joy in small moments. Their friendship deepened through shared vulnerability, reinforcing the truth that leadership was not a solitary path but one strengthened by community. To nurture her spirit, Emily embraced creative outlets like painting and journaling. These practices helped her process complex emotions and sustain her energy. They also sparked new ideas that she brought back to her work, blending art and activism in ways that resonated deeply with her community. One of the most rewarding moments came when Jasmine, the young man who had once inspired Emily, launched her own successful startup with support from the coalition. Jasmine's journey from hardship to entrepreneurship was a vivid testament to the ripple effect of mentorship and community investment. Watching Jasmine thrive reaffirmed Emily's belief that true change happened when opportunities were accessible and personalized. Emily's experience in New Horizons reinforced vital truths she had learned throughout her journey. Leadership was a continual evolution requiring adaptability and openness, collaboration across diverse sectors amplified impact exponentially, and personal growth was inseparable from professional success. The challenges remained, but each new horizon brought fresh strategies, allies, and hope. Standing before a packed auditorium at the Coalition's annual conference, Emily spoke with a passion born from experience and conviction. She shared candid stories of setbacks and breakthroughs, urging the audience to embrace discomfort, lead with empathy, and persist with resilience. Her message struck a chord, inspiring renewed commitment among attendees to foster inclusive, equitable economic ecosystems. The conference sparked new partnerships and innovations that extended the coalition's reach and deepened its impact. Emily's story, the waitress who had once been rude to a customer only to discover he owned the restaurant, became a powerful metaphor for unexpected opportunities and the transformative power of humility and growth. She shared this story openly, often ending with a challenge. What's your moment of unexpected opportunity? How will you rise when it finds you? As New Horizons progressed, Emily felt energized by the vast possibilities ahead. The road was still long and complex, with obstacles that would test her resolve in new ways. But she faced the future with renewed confidence, knowing she had built a foundation rooted in love, collaboration, and unshakable hope. The journey that had started with a brusque moment in a restaurant had evolved into a lifelong mission to uplift others and transform communities. New Horizons was more than a phase. It was a mindset, a commitment to continuous learning, innovation, and connection. As she looked forward to the chapters yet unwritten, Emily embraced the unknown with open arms, ready to meet whatever came next with heart, wisdom, and an unwavering belief in the power of collective progress. The story of Emily was no longer just her own, it belonged to every woman, every community, and every person willing to turn moments of challenge into opportunities for growth and change. Emily felt the weight of the years behind her as she stepped into the familiar warmth of the restaurant, the place where her journey had truly begun. The walls, now adorned with photos of women whose lives had been transformed through her mentorship program, radiated stories of resilience and hope. The hum of conversations, laughter, and clinking glasses filled the air like a comforting symphony, reminding her that this place was more than just a business, it was a living, breathing community. Tonight was special. Emily was hosting a celebration marking the 10th anniversary of the mentorship program, a milestone she had once only dreamed of reaching. As she moved through the room greeting guests, old friends, mentors, partners, and supporters, a profound sense of gratitude swelled within her. The years of struggle, sacrifice, and relentless determination had culminated in this moment of joy and reflection. The story that had started with a rude encounter between a waitress and a customer, Elon Musk, no less, felt surreal now. That incident had sparked a chain reaction, igniting a passion within Emily that transformed her life and countless others. Over the decade, Emily's program had grown from a small local initiative into a national movement. Women from all walks of life had found guidance, encouragement, and resources that empowered them to pursue their dreams. The restaurant, once just her workplace, had become a hub for this thriving community, a place where ideas were exchanged, friendships forged, and futures built. As the evening unfolded, Emily took the stage to address the crowd. Her voice, steady yet emotional, carried the weight of years of experience and the hope for the future. She spoke candidly about the hardships, the moments of doubt, the setbacks that felt insurmountable, the personal sacrifices that tested her resolve. But she also celebrated the victories, the lives changed, the barriers broken, and the power of collective action. This journey has been about more than me, she said. It's about every woman who has ever been told she wasn't enough, every community that has struggled to find opportunity, every heart that dared to hope. Together, we've proven that change is possible when we come together with courage and love. After her speech, Emily mingled with the guests, listening to stories of growth and gratitude. Jasmine, now a confident entrepreneur leading her own thriving business, shared how the mentorship had changed her life. Diane and Sarah, standing proudly by Emily's side, reflected on the journey they had witnessed and supported. The night was filled with laughter, tears, and the unspoken understanding that this was just the beginning. Beyond the celebration, Emily contemplated the road ahead. The challenges facing women and communities were still significant. Economic disparities, social injustices, systemic barriers, but the foundation was stronger than ever. The lessons learned over the years had equipped her with the wisdom and resilience to continue leading with empathy and innovation. Emily knew that the full circle moment wasn't just about looking back but about harnessing all that had been achieved to fuel future impact. She envisioned expanding the mentorship program globally, adapting it to different cultures and contexts, and leveraging technology to connect and empower women worldwide. The journey had taught her that leadership was not a solitary pursuit but a collective endeavor. It thrived on relationships, trust, and the shared commitment to a better world. As she stood in the quiet moments after the celebration, Emily reflected on the transformation, not just of her career or community but of herself. The rude waitress who once failed to recognize the man behind the table had grown into a leader who understood the power of humility, empathy, and connection. She had learned that true strength came from embracing vulnerability and inviting others into the journey. The story that began with a simple misunderstanding had blossomed into a legacy of empowerment and hope. In this full-circle moment, Emily felt a deep peace. The path had been winding and unpredictable, but it had led to profound growth and impact. She knew that the work would continue, that new challenges would arise, but she was ready. Ready to lead, ready to listen, and ready to inspire the next generation of women ready to change the world. The restaurant's doors were open wide, just as Emily's heart was, welcoming, hopeful, and full of promise. This was the story of resilience, connection, and the transformative power of a single moment. A story that would continue to unfold, chapter by chapter, in the lives of countless women and communities touched by Emily's vision and courage. And as the night grew late and the celebration wound down, Emily smiled, knowing that she had come full circle, and that the best was yet to come. Emily stood outside the restaurant, the cool night air brushing softly against her skin as she gazed up at the stars scattered across the clear sky. The celebration from the previous evening still lingered in her mind, the laughter, the heartfelt stories, the shared dreams that had filled the room. But tonight was different. Tonight, she felt the quiet pull of the unknown, a beckoning toward what lay beyond the horizon. Her journey had come full circle in many ways, yet she knew deep down that this was not an ending but the beginning of something even greater. The years of building a mentorship program, leading a coalition, and nurturing a community had prepared her for this moment. She had learned that growth was not linear, that each achievement opened doors to new challenges and opportunities. The world was vast and complicated, filled with inequities and possibilities that called for bold action. Emily's thoughts turned to the women she had met along the way, from small-town dreamers to urban innovators, all carrying their unique stories of struggle and strength. She wondered how to amplify their voices even further, to create platforms that transcended borders and backgrounds. Technology had become an indispensable ally in this mission. Over the past months, Emily had been exploring new digital tools and virtual communities designed to connect women entrepreneurs worldwide. She envisioned a global network where mentorship, resources, and inspiration could flow freely, uniting people who might otherwise never cross paths. The challenge was immense, navigating cultural differences, overcoming language barriers, and ensuring accessibility for those in underserved regions. But Emily felt a deep conviction that these hurdles were surmountable. She began sketching plans for a digital platform that combined personalized mentorship, educational content, and networking opportunities tailored to diverse needs. Drawing on data analytics and feedback from her existing programs, she aimed to create a user-centered experience that could evolve with its community. This vision was not just about scaling impact but about fostering genuine connection and empowerment on a global scale. As she worked on these plans, Emily remained grounded in the lessons of her journey. She remembered the importance of listening deeply, of embracing humility, and of recognizing the power in small, everyday acts of kindness and courage. These values would guide her as she stepped into this new frontier. Beyond technology, Emily also contemplated the broader social and political landscape. The systemic barriers facing women, especially those from marginalized communities, required multifaceted solutions. She committed herself to continue advocating for policies that addressed economic inequality, education access, healthcare, and social justice. Collaboration with diverse stakeholders, from grassroots organizations to government agencies, would be essential to drive meaningful change. The past decade had taught her that no single person or organization could solve these issues alone. Collective action, fueled by shared vision and mutual respect, was the key. On a personal level, Emily recognized the importance of balance and self-care in sustaining long-term impact. The intensity of her work had, at times, taken a toll on her well-being and relationships. She renewed her commitment to nurture not only her professional ambitions but also her mental and emotional health. Time with Diane and Sarah, moments of creative expression, and quiet reflection would remain vital parts of her life. As dawn approached, Emily felt a surge of determination. The horizon stretched wide before her, inviting exploration and discovery. She knew there would be obstacles, setbacks, doubts, moments of fatigue, but she was ready to meet them with courage and resilience. The story that had begun with a brusque exchange in a restaurant had grown into a movement, a network, a beacon of hope for countless women around the world. And now, it was time to take the next step beyond the horizon. Emily closed her eyes for a moment, imagining the lives yet to be touched, the dreams yet to be realized. She felt a profound sense of purpose and possibility. The future was unwritten, full of promise and challenge, and she was ready to write the next chapters with heart, wisdom, and unwavering hope. With a final glance at the stars, Emily stepped forward, embracing the vastness ahead and the incredible journey yet to come. Emily woke to the gentle light of morning streaming through her window, the quiet hum of the city stirring outside. The day ahead was full of promise, but also of challenge, one that would test everything she had learned on her journey so far. The mentorship program, now thriving nationally and gaining momentum internationally, had created a powerful ripple effect, but sustaining and growing that impact required constant innovation and adaptability. As she sipped her coffee, Emily reflected on the countless women whose lives had been touched by the programs she helped create. Each story was a testament to resilience and transformation, from Jasmine launching her startup to single mothers finding new hope, from immigrants breaking language barriers to young students discovering their potential. These ripples spread further than she had imagined, crossing states, communities, and borders. Yet, with expansion came new complexities. Emily had recently received reports of challenges in some regions, lack of resources, cultural resistance, and political hurdles that threatened to stall progress. These obstacles reminded her that the path of change was rarely smooth. She convened a virtual meeting with her leadership team, spread across different time zones, each bringing insights from their regions. The conversation was candid and solutions-oriented. They discussed tailoring programs more closely to local contexts, strengthening partnerships with community leaders, and enhancing digital access for remote participants. Emily emphasized the importance of listening to the women on the ground, understanding their unique struggles and aspirations. The ripple effect was only as strong as the connections that sustained it. Later that week, Emily traveled to a small town in the Midwest where the mentorship program had recently launched. Meeting with local women entrepreneurs, she witnessed firsthand the power of shared stories and collective encouragement. A young woman named Maria spoke about overcoming language barriers and navigating a male-dominated business environment. Her courage inspired Emily, reinforcing the universal themes of perseverance and hope. Emily spent hours listening, learning, and sharing ideas. She facilitated workshops that combined practical skills with emotional support, reminding participants that their voices mattered and their dreams were valid. This grassroots engagement was crucial to keeping the ripple moving forward, adapting to new realities while honoring individual journeys. Back in the city, Emily continued her advocacy efforts, collaborating with policymakers to address systemic issues such as access to capital, affordable childcare, and educational equity. She spoke at forums and panels, always centering the voices of the women she served. Her authenticity and lived experience lent weight to her message, building bridges between communities and decision-makers. Throughout it all, Emily remained mindful of the delicate balance between ambition and sustainability. She encouraged her team to prioritize wellness and resilience, understanding that burnout threatened the very movement they sought to build. Together, they implemented practices that fostered mental health, creativity, and connection. Emily also made time for herself, whether through painting, quiet walks, or heartfelt conversations with Diane and Sarah. These moments nurtured her spirit and kept her grounded amid the whirlwind of activity. The ripple effect extended into unexpected areas as well. Emily's story inspired young students to pursue leadership roles, local businesses to adopt inclusive practices, and media outlets to spotlight women's achievements more prominently. These cultural shifts, though subtle, signaled growing recognition of women's contributions and the value of diversity. As the chapter drew to a close, Emily felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The ripple she helped create was real and growing, touching lives in ways both visible and intangible. But she also knew the work was far from over. Each wave of progress revealed new challenges and opportunities, calling for renewed commitment and innovation. The ripple effect was a living, evolving force, one that required vigilance, compassion, and courage to sustain. Emily embraced this responsibility with open arms and a hopeful heart, ready to continue writing a story that belonged not just to her but to every woman, family, and community striving for a better future. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough?